Hello YouTube. We're going to go over a modification just picked up recently. This is the UpTop Overland hood lights that go under the hood in case you, I don't know, have a breakdown in a dark situation or whatever the case may be, or just getting old and night blind like me. Maybe avoid having to use a drop light. I kind of doubt it, but anyway, let me start by saying that this is not a cheap option. I, like many others, have used the option of using a self-adhesive LED strip, and I'm on my, I don't know, third or fourth one, just from them not working or getting the, the plastic lens tube thing that they all go in just gets clouded over by mud or whatever, and it just doesn't even really light anything. So if you look on UpTop Overland's website, you will not see much. It basically just shows this bracket, and I believe there's an installed photo as well. You'll also notice that the price is $119, which is a lot and way too much. But maybe I can help make that a little easier to swallow, in that it does come with the Mercury Switch here. Let's see if you can see this. See a little dab of mercury in there. It's just like, basically a tilt switch, so that when you open up the hood, it completes the circuit. The mercury bead does in there, and it turns it on, which is nice. It's actually a good idea, a really good idea. It comes with all the wiring, including to make these plugs right here. You can see this here to hook it up directly up to the battery. Here are the plug bits, and I'll get to that in a second. Oops. Some spacers and some jack nuts, and then the actual bolts. Okay, so we'll start with, I did film this, and it didn't come out all that great. So again, this is an expensive option because these Baja Designs rock lights, I guess is what they're primarily used for. They're like 60, 65 bucks a pop. So in case your math skills are anything like mine, you'll notice that's $240. That's a lot of money for an underhood light. And honestly, I wouldn't have done it if I didn't have the rock lights laying around from a project I never completed. So that made it a little better for me. But yeah, they need to, I don't know, half the price. I don't really know. I don't know what their materials cost or whatever. But at any rate, so when you get this, you'll have the materials to make this plug right here. And this plug and this plug are already installed. You basically just spline the pins on, which I don't think I have any. Yeah, you'll crimp the pins on. I don't know what I said, and then you insert them into the empty plug here, and you'll have to. A little easier to see. You'll see this little rubber piece. You got to pull those over the wires, yada yada yada, and then there's a little pin there. I did have an extra one. So you'll see that little pin. I highly recommend using the right crimpers that are made for these types of plugs. You'll hear them called weather packs or whatever, Deutsch plugs, that kind of thing. So yeah, it just makes your life easier. And then basically you build the plug, and then there's a little green lock. It's like kind of a smaller version of this orange bit right here. And that goes in there, and it locks the pins into the actual plug housing. I will say, be aware of what you're doing and what you're plugging into as far as this one and this one are concerned, because on their wiring harness, they've already crimped the pins on, and they leave the plug off so that you can run the wires a little easier, I'm assuming. So that's it's pretty easy. If you wired stuff up before or pinned any kind of these plugs, any of these plugs are really easy to pin. even if you mess up and put the pins in the incorrect plug, just to look, this is not the one you want to use, because it fits in to the one that's in the bag, if that makes any sense. If you've done it before, this isn't that hard. Literally took a few minutes. Yeah, I wire tied it to the bracket here, just more to keep it out of the way when I'm trying to put these bolts down and stuff. Maybe pretty it up a little bit. So you're left with this. All right. So there's no instructions with this. This is just part of the primary reason why I am making this video. So I don't know. I'm not going to finish this today and I'll get to the reasoning why in a second. So I'm assuming there's already 2 holes. I know on the Sport it's somewhere around the hood scoop. Again, I will get to that when I get out to the putting it on. You'll notice 2 of these. In fact, these are called jack nuts. Basically what happens is you stick these in the hole, and then you'll have to find some way to, you can see those little tabs that are kind of almost flat. So when you tighten up the bolt, it pulls this in. That's where my pointer finger is. And these things go out. It's kind of like drywall anchors, if you've ever used those. And that's supposed to hold in the hole. I don't like these. I can't stand them. Because what happens a lot of times is you'll put them in the hole and they will break loose. As in, you'll be turning the bolt and this will spin too. And then these are a mother to get out. I don't know for sure. I think that's what these nuts are for. And these are like rubber domed washers. I don't know. I haven't figured that part out yet. I'm probably just going to put them here, because there's no reason to use nuts like in the final installation, because these are threaded. You can kind of see maybe. So I'm assuming that this is for to put on the other side and to crinkle them down. I mean, maybe they mean for you to put them in the spacers. Don't know. We'll get to that part. But I kind of doubt it, because the length of this. Anyway, so as I said, I hate jack nuts. So what I did was I ordered some rib nuts, and I'm going to use those in lieu of these. I hope. It really depends on what the hole under the underside of the hood looks like. If you have the ability to do the rib nuts, in my opinion, they are better. They tend to not work their way loose. I mean, this isn't going to be something that's going to be cranked down, so. And I bought some stainless steel ones, since they are going to be under the hood and subject to moisture and, whatever else, so they don't rust, and then you have a whole other slew of issues. So when those show up, and it should be a couple of days from now, I ordered them from the big Amazons. We'll get to that. Like, as I say on the rib nuts, you have the ability to do it, as in you have a rib nut gun. Yeah, there's a way you can do it with a bolt and nuts, kind of like the way they want you to do it with the jack nuts. I recommend getting the I don't know, the rivet gun, as I think they're called. Make your life easier, and then you'll find all kinds of cool ways to use rib nuts. So in a couple of days, we're going to get to the installation portion of this, and I'll film that. And then hopefully these things are bright as crap, and it should be my final solution to this. Crossed of the fingers. Let's go. Alrighty, so we're going to get to this. It is actually quite a bit longer than I had bargained for to do this. I am going to use jack nuts. I know I said I wasn't. I changed my mind. It's mostly because this is super thin, and sometimes rivet nuts don't like to bite into the thin stuff. So I'm going to try jack nuts. First, we have to drill out these holes. So you've got 2 options here. You've got this pair, and this pair. You're gonna have to drill them out a little. I'm gonna use this lower pair because I just think it focuses the light more on the center. Your mileage may vary. I believe it's a 3/8 inch hole that needs to be done to put jack nuts in. So let's get that done, and we'll go from there. Oh, but you missed all the fun. Okay, do you remember when I was like, I'm not too big on jack nuts? Yeah, I'm still not. I ended up using rib nuts. They worked a lot better. The jack nut, I was trying to compress it and the bolt broke. So that's awesome. Don't know. Could have been me. I don't know. I have a rib nuts. I have the tool. It was way faster. So if you have the means, I highly recommend to do it. And you'll notice that something else is missing. The hood scoop. The jack nuts, you definitely got to pull it off. For the rib nuts, I don't know. I already pulled it off by then, so that was that. And then you just yeah, these lights are bright. Can you just get your plug together? You can run it down, 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 and pop out right there by the hinge. You can even see my finger right by the hinge. And then you can either run to the battery. It does come with ring terminals and a fuse holder. You can run straight to the battery because the Mercury Switch up there is the switch, or your S-Pod, your Switch Pro. I ran it to my auxiliary fuse block. Works good. This is not full light. Some of the light is this drop light, so hold on one second. And it's not fully dark out. Oops. So, I don't know. You get some kind of idea. I also have the lights on in the garage, but I'm sure it's better than the LED strips. How do I feel about this? Yeah, it needs to be about half of what it is, at least. Especially considering just the lights themselves, 120, 130 bucks. It's ridiculous. It's not worth it. If these guys plan on selling a lot of these, it's not going to happen. I'd also recommend getting the jack nuts out of there, or at least providing some instructions with the thing, because there was nothing. And as far as I could see, there was nothing on the website. So, there you have it. Good luck. As always, questions in the bottom. Hey, if you've got a way to do jack nuts that is foolproof, let me know, because I have not found it yet. I have done a couple of things with them, and I hate them so far, and I love the rib nuts. Jack nuts can kiss my bum. So, that's it. You just wire it all up, put your hood scoop back on if you took it off. I broke something on mine. I think it was already broken, but I'm going to epoxy it back together. I'm good. As always, good luck, happy wheeling, enjoy the ride.